That's totally doable.
Another possibility is that we could bring the shuttlecraft alongside the Griffin and use do the shuttles have transporters, or are those just the runabouts?
Most shuttles have transporters. Type 6 shuttles do. Type 9
So
shuttles do.
so can we use our shuttle's transporters to beam it out of engineering and into space? And or beam ourselves in
Except
to
for
engineering?
yes, except for we still don't know where it is. We haven't locked onto. We think it may be in engineering, but we haven't locked onto it specifically yet.
Yeah, I think if.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if we can get to engineering as quickly as possible to isolate the thing, then we've got to do something with it as soon as we have found it.
Because what I remember hearing earlier is that we need to be very close to it in order to detect it with the tricorders, right? Because the tricorders have limited range. Or was that just the engineering tricorder?
The engineering tricorder has limited range. Scientific tricorder would have a slightly harder time detecting it, but would have a lot longer range. I'm sure if I got into engineering, and it's in engineering, I could find it.
So maybe we can use the shuttlecraft to beam you from Griffin directly into engineering?
Well, I'm needed to get the freaking armory open first.
Yeah. So we're already armed though, right? The away team?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking if we beam as close to engineering as possible, we're already armed. We don't have to wait for that locker to be open. We can take immediate action.
I'd also say, just to put this out there, the ship is currently running on emergency power. So site to site transporters, probably not a thing.
Well, the transporters we would be using would be those on the shuttle, not the ones on the Griffin, right?
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So if you were to say, "Hey, we're going to get this thing and put it onto one of the shuttlecraft and then use that as a containment field, or even just say, friggin' particleize it out into space," that is totally a thing that you could do. It is up to you.
So I think Commander Strohm and I both are pretty handy in the security department. So I think we're probably the best equipped to try to secure the thing.
Yes.
And then Lieutenant Shee, if you stay to man the transporter on your shuttle, then as soon as we found it, you could lock onto it and either bring it. Well, actually, if I'm not on my shuttle anymore, you could put it right on that shuttle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're just beaming it to space. I mean, whatever. But yeah, that's.
I guess that just leaves me running directly to engineering.
Sure, you can meet us there and help us find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to make sure that we, in fact, are able to breathe by retaking control.
Oh, well, that too.
Cool. So this is the point where I think rank is going to pull into it. So Dr. Phlox is third officer. And so that means that Dr. Phlox, you are going to this is a tactical situation, so this would be Commander Strom's expertise, but we have said that Dr. Phlox is the third officer on board this ship. So I need whoever wants to pull rank in this to tell me what the plan is.
It's not a problem. If he contacts me, I could give him my security discipline and a focus if he wants to. It only costs 1 momentum. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to.
Let's do that. So I do have, let me check, I have discipline 5, and you can get a focus. This would be, let's say...
You teach him how to do MMA on the go.
maybe whatever might be here interesting. I don't know. What do you actually want to do? You get one focus from me and the discipline of 5. So
Yeah, because what I'm asking for is I want somebody to basically tell me what the plan of attack is. What are you trying to do at this point?
I recommend infiltrating, so you get reconnaissance as the focus.
Yeah,
That's my recommendation.
you can do that.
So the plan is you're going to attempt to retake engineering.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
I mean, I think this is my idea, but I'm Lieutenant Junior Grant, so I can't. I think the best idea is that Frank and Thos, or Commander Strohm and Lieutenant Azonan, go in, try and retake engineering, and while they're doing that, I'm going to go to the nearest console and try and stop this power loss.
okay. So, and does that preclude needing to go to the armory? So we're just going to cut right to engineering.
Because they've got phasers.
Yes.
Phlox
Yeah.
does.
Got it.
Actually, she could give Strom her phaser, and then
Yeah, I could take that with me when you're transporting us on the ship.
Sure, that's fine.
Cool. All right. So, in the interest of time, here's what happens. Both shuttles dock with the ship, and it is once you are both out of the shuttle and you start to figure out what the plan is, that's when the ship goes into red alert, as the ship detects a massive power failure at the warp core.
Oh god. My poor engines.
You
that bad?
rush over there. Oh, that is quite bad. That is muy bad.
so the engines run off of antimatter contained in these magnetic fields. If the magnetic fields break, antimatter collides with normal matter, which causes big boom.
Yeah, and just to put it out there, the ship's computer announces that a warp core failure is imminent.
Lieutenant Shee, what do you recommend?
I really think I need to get into engineering and stop
Let's
this.
go. Let's move.
Cool. So you hustle along, and in the time that you were all working on this thing, the ship has descended into chaos. You actually see that there are signs of battle or of fights that have happened in the corridors, and you actually see one of the walls underneath the red light of the blinking red alert. You see somebody has scrawled in some bodily fluid the phrase "Shepherd, save us." And you also see wandering around aimlessly is a small child of about 8. You recognize her before. She beamed up with you, but now she's completely alone. She's not holding on to anything, and she looks kind of at you like she's in shock.
You know what? We need to get to the engine room, so I pick her up and take her with me.
Got it. Bringing a kid right into a combat zone. I love it.
Yep. You know, you're never too young to learn.
That's the spirit.
Isn't this Batman's origin story? Yeah, so I'm going to set the scene up because we're approaching E11, but I think we can see this out. I'm willing to go a little later if that's okay with everyone.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Cool. So when you get to engineering, here's what you find. Engineering is fortified. There are 2 groups, or actually there are 3 groups of NPCs you have to contend with at this point. there is a group that is guarding the entrance to the warp core. If we're looking at the Roll20 map, it's the point that I've just indicated right there, right at the big door. On the inside, you can tell that there is a group of 4 other individuals. Is that right? Do I have it? Where be my notes? Oh no, there's a group of 6 individuals that are at the consoles trying to maintain control. When you look inside, at the warp core itself is a group of 5 individuals. All of them are on their knees in supplication and reverence to the warp core engine. And you see that one of them, the red-haired Sarah Shipley, is at the front, the closest to the warp core itself, holding aloft a giant stone eye that glows with an interesting light refraction coming off of it. It doesn't have its own internal glow. Obviously the same material you had met previously, but now molded and shaped and sculpted into a different form. And she's holding it aloft almost like she's offering it as a sacrifice to the warp engine.
Do we have clear sight?
Right now, you don't really have clear sight because there are too many people standing between you and them.
If she's holding it up, I might actually get her hand.
Yeah, you can kind of sort of see it. It would be a difficult shot. I would put it that way if you wanted to try and shoot it out of her hand.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so we are now officially entering combat. We'll say, since the colonists were so fortified, they are going to take first initiative. Now, I'm going to roll randomly to determine who's going to get hit. Commander Strohm, coming after you.
All right.
So now, just to put all of my cards out there, I'm actually going to spend my last 2 points of. Actually, no, I think I already did that. I spent threat in order to activate the escalation of Phaser Type 2. Since you elected to have most of the phasers locked up, I'm going to say that half of them have phasers, the other half do not. So that was actually quite helpful for you, so you're not taking this barrage of phaser fire. They don't have any focuses. I'm going to spend one of my threat for an additional die. Complication range is normal. And we're going to do this is going to be I think, daring security for a ranged attack.
Ranged is control plus security.
Control plus security, right? Yeah. And we roll. This will be... Okay, so that's 3 successes. And it's a static difficulty of 2. Got it. So I'm going to hit you. I will gain the 1 threat back for that, and now I'm going to roll some damage. Wow. So Commander Strohm, this is Phaser Type 2. I didn't take the charge action, so you're just going to take 4 points worth of stress damage.
Oh, good for me. I can take that.
Bang, 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 bang. And I almost injure you. I got so close. So close. So I'm also going to activate their 1 talent, Devotion to the Shepherd. And I'm going to ignore the cost to keep the initiative during the first round and do it again.
Damn it.
So now let's see who... So that's going to be, we'll roll another die, see who gets hit. Okay, so Lieutenant Shee, this one's coming after you.
Okay.
I will not pump for another die, so we'll just do that again. Woo! Is that double crit?
Oh my god.
That is a double crit. So
English, por favor.
oh,
You rolled two natural
Success
ones.
with 2 momentum.
yeah. Yes, that's success with 2 momentum on top of that, or 2
Okay.
threat. Whoop. I'm gonna take that. Let's see, can I think I can spend. I'll look at the combat momentum spends in just a second. We're just gonna do some regular damage right now. All right. So Lieutenant Shee. Wow. Okay. You're gonna take 2, 3, 4, 5 points.
Oh,
What are my options for mitigating damage, if any?
You don't have any resistances, so you're going to take damage.
Okay.
The question is, 5 damage plus is enough to cause an injury.
Right.
Now you can avoid the injury.
Okay.
Where's the momentum spends or combat?
it's two momentum or 2 threat, so it's
Yeah.
immediate spend.
Yeah, so you can avoid suffering 1 injury. You can only do that once per combat.
And you spend any? Is it possible to spend determination if you have an applicable value to avoid the damage?
You could mix and match. You could spend 1 momentum we have in the pool and 1 generate 1 threat. That could work too.
Yeah, I don't think you can
You know-
avoid stress. You can just avoid injuries.
Yeah, so I think that the determination, I will allow it. It might not be specifically rules related, but I will allow it this time because it's the last scene and might as well use that determination anyway. But we'll look
Okay.
that up for future games.
Okay, so what I would like to do is whatever damage mitigation I can get from it, I'd like to spend a point of determination and leverage my value. I bend, but I don't break.
Oh, excellent. No, perfect. Yeah, so you're still going to take the 5 damage. Or actually,
Okay.
yeah. 87 to 88. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I will allow that you will still take the 5 damage, but you will avoid the injury.
Okay.
And injuries are quite bad because if you get injured, you're out of the fight.
Okay.
So that's my go, and now it is your turn.
All right. So how far away are they regarding zones or so?
I'm going to say they are. If you're entering down at the bottom, that'd be 1, 2. They are 3 zones. Or actually, yeah, because you're being fired on from up at the top, so they are 3 zones away from you.
So it's probably hard to get to them for a close combat thing. So I need to fire at the Miss Shipley with her outstretched hand. So I'd like to take a minor action for aiming and then
Okay.
shoot the globe out of her hand if it's possible.
Okay. So this is
On
going
stun, of course. My face is always on stun. Only.
Of course, yes. Yeah, so this is a non-lethal attack. Yeah, so you move to get to within 2 zones, so this will be medium range, which I think is the farthest range for that phaser, if I remember correctly. So I will allow that. The difficulty on this is going to be, I'm going to say the difficulty on this is going to be 4. And I'm going to spend 2 points worth of threat to raise the complication range up to 3.
All right. So.
Can I
Actually,
assist with this task at all?
Unfortunately, not. This is a combat task. Or actually,
Because if I forego my independent action, I think I can do an assist action.
Okay. What would you like to do then?
Well, if I could contribute phaser fire to basically like suppress the people around the doctor, would that give Commander Strohm a clearer shot?
I like that idea. So you're basically doing suppressing fire to try to keep a clearer shot open.
Yes. Yep.
Then I will totally allow that.
Okay.
So what I'll do is instead of, well, actually make your roll. We'll see how successful this is. I'll set the difficulty to go 0.
Oh, so that's for okay. So what's my complication range?
I'll set that to 1.
Okay, and I'm doing control plus security as normal.
Yes.
Okay, and I have focus for combat tactics and also for improvisation. Does either one of those come into play?
Combat tactics does.
Okay. All right, so it's just a regular roll then.
Yeah, I'm making this work so that you're basically taking an independent action to lower his difficulty.
Oh, his difficulty. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
that's how I'm rolling with it.
Okay. All right. So
got it
2
exactly.
successes. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. So what happens is you start laying down suppressing fire, and the people who are guarding the main door have to take cover. That opens up a much clearer shot. So, if you want to spend that last point of momentum, you can keep the initiative and take the next shot. Or if there's something that will let you do it freely, you totally can.
Let's do that.
Okay. So, Commander Strohm, your difficulty is going to be 3 on this. Then I'm also going to say that your complication range is going to go up to 3 as well.
All right. And what did the suppressive fire did that change the difficulty somehow?
Yes, the difficulty was at 4.
Oh, okay. So it's 3, and that's still a hard thing to do. You know what? Let's go all in. It's important. So take 6 threat for 3 additional.
Wow. Okay.
not fooling around.
Right.
Yeah, and with that complication range,
Yeah.
That's a thing that could happen. Well, let's see. I need 3 successes. All right. Let's see how that turns out. So I don't have any focus on shooting, so that's not helping here. So let's roll it. Ooh.
Oh no!
Wait for it. I just checked what I can do with my determination. Determination allows you to reroll all the dice in a roll.
Yep.
And I don't fight. I survive. That's one of my values.
Good. Go for
And
it.
that's what I'm doing with my determination.
That was 2 successes and 3 complications.
Yeah, that would be a very bad thing. And let's see how that turns out on a reroll. Could I actually keep these successes? What does it say?
You can reroll all of the dice in a character's dice pool. So I think it's not a selective reroll.
It's all dice. Yeah. All right. So rerolling all of those and hoping for a better result. Let's see.
Oh, that's way better.
So that's 4 successes and 1 critical, so that's 6 total. So
wow.
Absolutely.
So that's 3 momentum.
Yep. So you're going to do that. So you walk up and just dead shot. Pew! A single stun bolt heads straight at Sarah Shipley's hand.
Should I roll damage? Do I need to roll damage?
It's roll me damage just to figure out what it is. It's a non-lethal attack, so we'll see if it knocks her out.
Okay, let's see.
That's a lot.
That looks good.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with an effect. So, did you aim?
Yeah, I did aim.
Okay, so you could use one of the charge abilities.
Oh, yeah, that's. Let me check.
Well-
You could do area, intense, piercing 2, or vicious 1.
Um, what does intense do? I'm not.
That makes it harder to avoid injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, but it's not an injury. I'm intending to do.
I mean, if you were to injure her, you would knock her out. I will say that Sarah Shipley is a notable NPC, so she may have the option of avoiding an injury.
Okay, then I might use that in intense. And you know what? I spent 1 momentum to reroll the 4 dice that didn't show any results, so that might make it harder.
3 dice.
3? No, yeah, 3 dice. Yeah. So I reroll 3 challenge dice separately for 1 momentum, and let's see how that turns out. Yeah, another effect and 1. So yeah, that's a total of what's it? 1, 2, 3. 8 points? Is it 8?
One. Yep. Looks like it's 8.
Yeah, and it bumps the cost up for avoiding injury, gets bumped up to 4, which they can still cover.
Yeah, I can still cover that. I'm trying to figure out if I think a notable NPC can avoid an injury. I just want to be positive about that. You know what? Screw it. I'm not gonna look that up too much. I'll eat those 4. I mean, how much damage can she take?
5 points is usually sufficient for an injury.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how much stress she has. Because she has no resistance.
Fitness plus security, if you.
So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so she's gonna take all of that damage, but she's really hurt. And I will reduce my threat by 4 in order for her to stay conscious.
Does she drop the
yes.
thing?
Yeah,
at least
drops,
something.
Yeah, it drops and it falls down to the floor. So with that in mind, I forgot to mention something, and this is my bad. So this is not only a combat round, it's a timed task. Because this artifact or whatever this thing is causing havoc with the warp core, and it is draining power out of it. If the power ever reaches 0, the warp core will fail, and you all are gonna have a very bad time. So how much? So it's a maximum of 11 power. Man, this ship generates a lot. So every interval, or every interval is 1 round. So at the beginning of every round, which I'll say has already happened, your power is going to go down. And if the power ever reaches 0, then kaboom. So it is an extended task to attempt to stop the warp core from going critical. I will tell you right now, it's hard. So if somebody wants to attempt that, let me know and I'll tell you what happens. But
that is why we are still having a firefight or something.
Yes, that is happening while combat is also going on.
Okay, I just remembered I have the veteran talent. I could roll a challenge die to see if I get the determination back.
Okay, go for it.
Rolling 1 die. Nope.
Okay. So we move along. It's now my turn. I'm going to say that I'm going to do this. Sarah is going to use her action to pick the shepherd back up, and she's going to take cover. So she's going to be a little bit harder to hit. And she's going to do a where's the
It's usually two dice of cover soak or something like that.
I think so. Yeah, I'm going to. That's how I'll roll with it. And yeah, character finds defensible position, otherwise gains additional readiness. It's a task with a difficulty 0, and success increases the difficulty of any attacks made by that character by 1 until the start of that character's next turn.
She could
may
do the
attempt to-
recover action,
Yeah, that
and,
is
and
also
that
true.
gives. If she does the recover action, she gets back her ability to ignore
to
an
avoid
injury.
an injury.
Yeah.
May regain, and I could spend momentum as well if I wanted to. She'll do that. So she'll pop into cover as her move, and she will do a fitness plus command task to attempt to regain some of her stress. Fitness plus command, which is not great. It's a difficulty 1. Do that. Cool. And we roll. Okay, so she hits it. Means the character gains 1 additional, resistance for each effect rolled on covered dice. So if she has 2 dice for which that's going to fail. So I'll do it this way because that's stupid. Okay, so she's going to gain 1 resistance for the next hit. So that is her turn, and we pass it back.
So now she can only avoid injury once in the scene. Is that right?
She has just regained it. However, she is pretty hurt. And
right.
And if she's reduced to 0 stress, she cannot avoid that injury.
Yep. Go for her.
Okay. I'll use my aim minor action. So
Okay.
I forget how that works. Does that reduce the difficulty, or what does that do? I don't remember.
Yeah, aim is you can re-roll a single 20-sided die made on an attack before the start of your next turn. If you take a minor action to charge, then that's how you can activate certain abilities for your phaser.
Right. I'm just thinking it's more important that I hit her than that I do a lot of damage because she's already hurt.
Yeah, she's already pretty hurt. So aiming is better.
Yeah. So okay, so I'm going to use my aim minor action.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm just going to take a non-lethal shot at her, just a normal shot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a difficulty 2.
Yep, it's going to be a difficulty 2.
Can I spend some momentum to increase my odds? Does anybody mind?
Take all. It's 2 dice for you.
Okay, so all right, so I'm going to burn all the momentum. I'll roll 4 dice.
And you can re-roll 1 die because you aimed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yep. And then does my combat tactics still apply?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, here goes nothing. Oh yeah.
Wow.
So you're going to get 3 of those momentum back.
Okay, and I'll roll my damage.
Oh my lord!
Are you sure? If on your character sheet, don't enter under weapons the whole damage plus your security. It adds those automatically. So that's why you rolled so many dice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hold on. Where is this?
Can I use some of that momentum that we just earned to make sure that I don't kill her?
I mean, you will always declare before you roll if the attack is lethal or if it's non-lethal.
Yeah. This was definitely non-lethal or intended to be.
Right. Yeah. If you ever decide to go for a lethal attack, then I automatically gain threat because of it, because you are Starfleet. So I'm going to reset your damage. So the phaser type 2 will now accurately
there we go.
roll 7. I mean, it's still 7 dice. It's still rad. So give me a reroll, please.
Okay. There we go. That's a little more
1,
digestible.
2, 3, 4, 5. That's so many effects. So that's 5 damage. Yeah.
That's good.
So she's going to reduce it by 1, so that's 4. She only has 2 stress left, so she takes an injury and is knocked out. As you see, as she's trying to hold this thing up, still offering it to the warp core, and you just walk up, you find that right bit of, just that slight bit of exposed red hair, and you take the shot. It clips her right in the scalp, and she drops, and the eye rolls out of her hands and comes to a dead stop right in front of the warp core.
Well, somebody's gonna have to go for it.
Now it's my turn. I think that I've still got 2 more people who have phasers, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna do that. We'll do this first. So we're gonna 5. See what happens. Commander Strohm, I'm gonna hit you again.
All right.
I will take. They have a phaser type 2, so performs the prepare minor action. So that's what I will do. I'm going to prepare and charge this thing up, because I'm going to mess your day up. I'm going to spend 1 of my threat to gain an additional die. And it's going to be a control plus security task. And we roll. I hit it just.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to do the phaser type 3. Boom, boom, boom. So you're going to take 3 points worth of damage. They are all effects. Here, so there's the pair minor action. Here, yeah, it's blah 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 blah. Okay, so I'm going to say this is, what is intense? That seems good.
Makes it harder to.
The cost to avoid injury by an intense weapon increases by 1 for each effect rolled, which is not good enough for me. I'm gonna turn on vicious. So you're taking 6 damage.
All right. 6 damage is actually would be an injury. So, but I didn't yet use the 2-point momentum spend to avoid injury. So I will do that right now.
Okay.
So rolling out of the way in the last minute, second actually.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, you roll right out of the way as this vicious phaser bolt comes gunning for you. It is a close call. Like you don't know how you got out of the way that easily. Well, you do know, but it's still impressive. That's my turn. It is now yours.
So
yeah, who didn't act yet?
Yeah, who hasn't gone yet?
Yeah, I haven't acted either.
Okay, so who wants it?
I would rather go last, because I think I'm gonna wait till hopefully we knock out all the enemies, and then I can get on the engine and try to stop this warp core breach.
Well, if you're going to do that, then I need to go first, because I need to get on the computers and get them not locked out, so you can do that.
Oh, I forgot. I completely spaced on the computer. I'm sorry. It's a lot of moving parts to keep track of.
Yeah.
So should I just shoot then?
I will say this, that control for the ship is in engineering right now. So the computers that you would need in order to sort of reassert control are right here, and you are not locked out of them.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, both you and I can both work on fixing the engines, because I also have engineering of 4, and I have the experimental technology focus, and since these warp engines are also experimental, I assume that focus applies. So either one of us could be doing that.
Are you a better shot than me? You probably are.
I don't have a phaser.
Oh. All right. In that
Guys
case.
brought them all up and took the last 3 with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Good. Excellent point. Excellent point. All right. I'll shoot then.
Okay.
Maybe you want to aim, or maybe you want an area effect.
Definitely good.
Yeah. Especially against not that notable NPCs.
Sure. I mean, just tell me what I need to do to make it happen.
So this is going to be a control plus security task. First of all, you're
Okay.
going to take the minor action to prepare, which is you're
Okay.
going to charge up. Well, because you have a phaser type 2 or type 1.
I have a 1
2.
on my character sheet.
So
Yeah,
that does...
everyone on the away team got the type 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. So it's a 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Gotcha. So we're going to change. Actually, I'm going to go into your character sheet and change your damage slightly, just to make sure that is accurate. So we're going to change that to a phaser type 2 for right now. The damage goes up by 1. Great. And so that does have the charge effect. So you're going to spend the minor action to prepare and charge your phaser up. You're going to do a control plus security task. The difficulty is 2.
Okay.
I'm going to say that I'll spend a point of threat, because might as well, to increase the complication range up by 1, because there are a ton of enemies around you.
Okay.
So that means control plus security complication range is a 2. So you're looking good. If you want to spend that last point of momentum for an extra die, you totally can. Otherwise, you are good to roll.
Okay. I'm gonna leave that momentum there because I got a feeling we're gonna need it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So difficulties 2. What are we looking at? Nothing. So your shot goes wide. If you because you still have. Wait a minute. You would use determination.
Correct.
So yeah. So it's just shot goes wide, unfortunately.
Okay.
Cool. So now it's my turn. I think I'm just gonna try to take another shot. Whoop. Okay, this one's coming at Thos.
All right, I'm ready.
He'll do the same thing. He'll charge up the Type 2 phaser, see what we can make happen. Control plus security. Task roll is 2. And we roll. And I also... and I get nothing. Just phaser bolts going everywhere. Pew, pew, pew. Okay, that means next up in the order is, it looks like, Lieutenant Tahana. You're the last one left.
I don't think I've gone yet either.
Okay, so who wants it first?
Like I said, I'm going to try and fix the engines. That's my plan. Wait, I thought everybody else had gone. I know Hans is gone. I know Phlox is gone.
I have?
Did you go? I can't remember.
I don't think Phlox is gone.
Didn't you do a big old distraction dance so that Hans could shoot?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, somebody
I
used...
did that.
Okay, so that was Thos. Okay, so Phlox, I will let you take an action.
Okay.
But Phlox also doesn't have a phaser.
Is anyone currently injured?
Not yet.
No
Probably soon.
one's injured. You've seen Commander Strohm take a few hits or get shot at repeatedly.
How far am I currently from Commander Strohm?
You're within range.
Okay.
So yeah, you could use your minor action to move into engaged with him.
Sure. I'll do that. I'll, take cover behind the nearest whatever.
Okay. All right. So if you wanted to, okay. So yeah, first aid only kicks in if he is injured, which he is not.
Yeah.
But you still could try to create an advantage of some kind.
Mm-hmm. This is a yeah, that's a difficulty 2 task.
All right, sure.
Okay.
What am I?
So what would you like to do at that point? Now, just to set the scene. You are under fire right now. You've taken out Sarah Shipley. She is unconscious. The stone she was holding is now out of her hands and rolling, and has come to a stop at the foot of the warp core.
Come on, get the stone. You can do it.
Yeah. So if you wanted to do anything about that, you could try to create an advantage there. You could attempt to isolate it. You could attempt to beam it out. Whatever you wanted to go do at that point.
Would it be possible just to like throw something into the room that smells bad to throw off all the people that are defending there? Like a stink bomb type of thing? Creating a distraction.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if that's all you want to go do, if like you want to hinder them, I will totally allow that. Let's make a daring security roll.
Oh God.
If you wanted to do something, actually, if you wanted to do something that would upset them, like, you know, either like bad smells or noises, I would allow a daring medicine check.
Yeah. We're doing that. We're doing bad smells. All right.
Like why did someone program smells into the computer for exactly this purpose?
I don't think any of my focus is here. Would composed work? As we're like...
No. This is improvisation. This is like you are flying by the seat of your pants.
All right.
You're trying to get the life support to produce some kind of concentrated locker room smell or so.
Yeah, should I spend a threat to get an extra die here?
Oh yeah, do that. Do it.
Alright. I'll give you a threat for a third die here.
I'll take it.
Oh baby.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was difficulty 2, so you're gonna gain one momentum for that. And yeah, you have an advantage. So the scene is gonna change in such a way that they are now anything that they want to do is going to be harder. So I'm gonna say for the next round, all of their tasks are gonna be one difficulty worse. So that includes shooting, that includes attempting to hold on to the ship, anything like that. And we'll say that is... Yeah, that'll kick in right now. As... Let's see, what do they want? I think they realize that they're under attack, so someone's going to attempt to see if they can shut the blast door, basically, and barricade themselves in. This is going to be a control plus engineering check, which they are terrible at. Yeah, I think we're just going to keep it like that, see what happens. Difficulty on this was going to be 2. I'll bump it up to 3 because of smell-o-vision. Nope, nothing doing. So yeah, they are unable to, like, you can actually hear them coughing and retching as this horrible odor enters into the space where the warp core and engineering is. And yeah, they're unable to seal themselves in. So that means it's Lieutenant Tahana. It is your turn.
So just to be clear, is there anybody? Can I get to a console? Can I get to a console?
Yes.
All right. I am going to try and keep my head down as best as I can and run over to a console and try to start fixing the engines.
Got it. So fixing the warp core is an extended task. You can choose whether you want to do control plus engineering, which I think might be your best stat. Insight con also works. Daring plus science also works, whichever's better. It has a magnitude of 3, and it has an extended work track of 15. And actually, because of... Yeah.
I will do either daring and science or control engineering. Both give me the same numbers.
Okay.
I will use... I have a focus in it because I'm trying to fix these experimental warp engines.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to, in fact, use my determination, learning the universe is not out to get me because no one fired on me that round.
Yep. I will totally allow that. I was actually reading closer that your difficulty is actually going up to 4 because of the circumstance that because this stone is in such close proximity to the warp core. So it's still a magnitude 3 extended task, but the difficulty is going to be 4.
I'm definitely going to use... I think I'm going to have to go for... use one momentum for an extra die, and then I think I'm going to have to give you a threat for another extra die if I can spend both threat and momentum.
Yep. So we'll empty out the momentum track. I'll give myself an extra threat.
And whatever I roll plus 2 successes because of using determination. So I'm effectively rolling all 5 dice.
Yep. Okay, hit me.
So 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so you make it. You get 1 momentum back, which is good.
And I get 2 more because of untapped potential.
Oh,
okay,
cool.
So that's 3.
Nice.
Good. You're going to need it. Great. So you're going to do some work on the work track. Roll your security result. Sorry. Roll your engineering result plus 2 in challenge die.
Apparently, 1 dice equals 6.
Yeah, it is a little busted. I don't know why. The way that
I'll try re-rolling. There we go.
There it goes.
That's better.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is enough because there is no resistance here. So that is enough for a breakthrough, which is very good.
And an effect for another breakthrough?
You could do that too. So that brings it down.
Definitely wanted. Yes, I would like to prevent us from all dying in a horrible fiery death.
Oh man, I had plans, man.
Couldn't you spend momentum to keep the initiative to get another go at this one?
If you haven't done that already, you definitely could. I just want to see the momentum spends during an extended task.
Actually, I would like to. I would like to seize the momentum to let Lieutenant Shee go because she's actually better at extended tasks than I am.
Got it.
So I will say, something like, Lieutenant, I've got the magnetic containment under control, but the warp core is still acting erratically.
I'm on it.
Okay. So let's see. And no special effects, just without it. However, characters that will trigger effects when they are rolled. If they have multiple benefits, all of them are triggered. Then all of them are triggered when an effect is rolled. What? Characters can obtain benefits which will trigger when effects are rolled. If a character has multiple benefits, then all of them are triggered when an effect is rolled. So triumphant you can only do once.
Okay.
So there's no resistance, so it doesn't matter. So if you want, you can do. So you can either do triumphant, which gives you another, which gives you another breakthrough right now, and then that's it. Or you can do additional work.
I'll do triumphant. We need as many breakthroughs as possible.
Cool. So
and then I was going to spend 2 momentum to
keep the initiative.
And let Lieutenant Shee get to a workstation and continue working. Got it.
So what's going to happen here is I'm going to say that's going to happen at the top of the next round. So the power on the ship drops by 1. I'm going to spend 3 points to drop it another 3 points. So the ship is now sitting at 7 power. Or actually, no, it's now sitting at 6 power. And yeah, so that is going to be, so it's going to be a difficulty. So the difficulty goes down. So yeah, it's going to be a difficulty 2 task on this. So Lieutenant Shee, this is going to be a control plus engineering, daring plus science, or insight con check, whichever's best for you.
Okay, I'm gonna just give me a second because I want to post the 3 relevant items here so everybody can kind of walk me through how these work.
Sure.
So that's the 3 of them.
Okay. So
right.
Got it. So cautious means whenever you buy a die using momentum.
Right. That one I know because I've used it already.
Good. Yeah. So whenever you succeed at a science or engineering task as part of an extended task, you score 1 additional work for every effect rolled. So see
that's great.
Yeah, that's very good. So
and then intense scrutiny would be awesome, except for our current task has no resistance.
Yeah. So in the nick of time is probably the best one for you.
Usually, whenever you do work on an extended task, there's a stat called resistance, which subtracts from all of your work that you're doing. But we don't have any resistance right now. But yeah, if you had been like helping us with the medical patient, you could have used intense scrutiny to reduce the resistance that medical patient had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you had been in the room.
So what are my attribute and discipline choices for this?
You can do control plus engineering, daring plus science, or insight plus con. You'd probably want to do either control engineering or daring science if it's somehow better.
No, so it's control and engineering.
Okay.
I'm assuming warp core mechanics, emergency repairs. I've got a few. Choices there. Complication range is set to 2 or 1 or.
I've got 1 threat left, so I'm going to bump the complication range up to 2.
Okay, I will use 1 momentum to grab an extra die.
Got it. So cautious kicks in.
And I think that's everything.
Okay.
And you can re-roll. You have the cautious.
Yes. So
that's what we just said.
Got it. So you will definitely succeed, but roll 1 extra die to see if that complication goes away. Okay. So it's at least not a complication now. Okay, so 2 is exactly what you needed to succeed at this task. How much work is on the work track right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 15. Great. So roll a number of challenge dice equal to your engineering stat plus 2. It does this.
Just hit the button again. There we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So
And the effect counts as 2.
yes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 plus 5 is 12, which is not enough to fill the work track, but you do achieve another breakthrough, which
Very
is
good.
the last one that you needed to reduce the magnitude down to 0. So
Yay.
the warp core is no longer going critical, which is good. At this point, combat is over. It's now up to you how you decide you want to clean up.
I think the first order of business is to beam that thing into a shuttle bay, and then put a containment field around that shuttle.
Yeah, certainly. So what happens is Lieutenant Shee is dancing across the L cars, and you can feel that, and you can, when you finally get that last bit of power back, and you're like, okay, locking out the warp core, and you actually see some protective coverings go around the warp core, sealing it off. The ship power comes right back on, and at that point, it's easy for Lieutenant Tahana to grab onto this thing and transport it right into the Rumpelstiltskin.
And then put it in as powerful a containment field as I can manage.
Yes. Like you have a CDC level quarantine field going on around it.
No, we want something good.
Yeah, I might actually take a breather for the moment, because I got tanked with I think about 10 points of stress or so.
Yeah, Frank, how the hell are you still awake?
What?
Oh, you're 6 hours ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I started at about 12 hours ago. We started with a Hellfrost game, Savage Worlds. Then I had 2 hours of a little bit of gamer chat, and then our session now started. Yeah, I will
my
go to
God.
bed and sleep quite a few hours later on, and I have to run an Infinity game this evening.
My God.
So, since it is getting late, it's almost midnight here. I'm going to quickly wrap this up. If there's anybody if anybody wants to do anything, just let me know. With the object successfully maintained in a quarantine field, you are able to now take your time to sort of figure out what the hell it is you are dealing with. And with a little bit of scientific study, you can tell that indeed this object is a life form. It is actually alive. You can tell that it has no method of communicating other than by manipulating the material around it. So it's hypotheses that this being, this life form, had no clue what the hell was happening to it, and was trying its best to communicate its distress to everybody around it, but that manipulated their biology and their brain chemistry enough to make them highly susceptible to suggestion. And the shape that you found it in, these like 3 large baseballs sort of fused together in an everlasting gobstopper, it has been reshaped and formed into this eye shape. So what this thing was going through, if it could feel pain, had to have been torturous. Like, imagine if somebody was carving you into a shape that you were not meant to be in.
Yikes.
This, yeah. So you have a decision about what to do with this life form. All of the colonists will need to undergo extensive physical and psychological therapy. Sarah Shipley was confined to the Griffin's world-class brig. It seems like, yeah, she has very little memory of what happened to her, and when after enough time has passed, mentioning the shepherd to her gets you nowhere. She doesn't remember what it is or what that's a reference to at all.
I propose that we keep the creature in a security field so it can't mess with anybody else's biology, but then like give it try to figure out if we can set up a communication or a dialogue with it by giving it like a pad or something, or finding some way that it can manipulate something that we can read, and then we can give that information back to it.
Could we try to reshape it into its original form somehow?
That is pretty impossible, at least with the material that that you have.
If we had scanned it really super detailed with the
Right,
transporter, we could have, but
yeah, this is a brand new life form. And also, the pieces that were originally part of it are now on the floor in Dr. Belfont's office.
Well, anyway, that's my idea, is to find some, give it something that it can reshape to communicate with us, then we can give it something to reshape to communicate back to it.
It's an interesting thing, because you are technically making first contact here. You are not making first contact because the colonists found it first.
We'll say it's first contact.
Right, yeah. Woohoo! First contact.
We'll send this to Ritos. They're specialized in second contact missions.
The ship is going to take a little bit to reassert normalcy. So the other thing is that the colony on Stalis 2, it's effectively lost. There's no way that, and actually, now that you know what you are looking for, a scan of under the planet's surface shows hundreds of thousands of these organisms living underground.
We should probably beam it back to its people then. That's probably better.
Can we put a warning buoy in orbit to warn off ships?
We should probably just contact Starfleet Command. They'll send a ship with an actual ship's counselor. And maybe send first contact specialists who can go down there and make contact with these people.
That's probably the best way. We need to get the colonists off world, and put a beacon out that warns everyone else, and get Starfleet involved.
Yeah. So when you do that, Starfleet is going to recommend that the rest of the colony at Stalis 2 be evacuated and relocated. It doesn't seem like there's going to be any sort of ramifications or repercussions for the colonists that were in rebellion, let's put it that way, as it seems like they were not entirely within their right minds when they were doing so. So Starfleet will absolutely take over, making sure that nobody else messes with this planet again. And once that happens, Commander Strohm, it takes a few days for your head to clear, and for the influence that you were feeling to go away.
I'm probably walking around with quite the headache.
Yes.
But that was a thing I got from one of my tutors at the academy, you know, I always run around with a face looking like you have a major headache, because then everyone will not be surprised if you actually do have a headache.
Mm-hmm. And a few days later, after all of the communiques have gone out to Starfleet, and your plan is, or the next steps are set in motion, we cut to the end of a senior staff meeting as Commander Kassar is debriefing everybody on what has gone on and what the plans are. That this organism will be returned to its planet and it will be left in relative peace, and Starfleet and everybody are going to just move on. As Commander Kassar dismisses this meeting, he's going to say, Commander Strohm, could I have a word, please?
Yes.
You are the last one to leave, so it's just the two of you. So you've had quite the eventful few days, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Barely a month out of space dock, and we've already put the ship in critical danger.
Yeah, but we survived, and that's the important part.
I guess. Listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, but the results from the captain's medical study have come back, and while it's not bad, it's not good either. I have full confidence in Dr. Phlox and his ability to give the captain the absolute best care that Starfleet can offer, but Starfleet has ordered us to approach the nearest starbase and give the captain to their doctors, so that a dedicated medical team could see to his needs.
It's probably for the best. Yeah.
But that leaves the Griffin without someone to pilot her.
Yeah. So let me be the first to congratulate you.
Do I really want it?
It's not about if you want it. You're good at it, and well, that's the important part.
Then, I mean, nothing's official yet. I'll probably just be like, if Starfleet approves it, I'll be acting captain and won't even get the fourth pip and all. But who knows? I just wanted to let you know that this was a thing, and we have our next orders. Unfortunately, the war games that we had planned are going to have to be put on pause for a little bit, but they will happen.
You know, you brought us through this crisis. That's captain material, at least in my experience. So,
well, what is the Earth saying? Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah.
Delicious chickens.
That's a weird thing to say. Yeah.
I mean,
he's a cat, right?
Yes.
Chickens.
Yeah. I look around this ship, and all I see are 200 eggs. 200 very fragile eggs that I'm going to have to look out for. But he then stands up and he puts his hand onto your shoulder, and he's like, "At least I'm not going to have to do it alone."
Yeah, well, and actually, if we do things right, they will look after themselves. That's at least my goal.
I think when we get to starbase, we'll have an opportunity to relax and maybe reflect on what's happened to us, and then see what else is out there for the galaxy to offer us.
I actually like to have some beer too. Yes.
You are dismissed, Commander.
All right.
And with that, episode 1, The Shepherd, is at its conclusion. Thank you all so much.